So yes, I bought a stake in Plymouth Argyle that takes me above the 50, reduces James down to about 30. The reason being that we needed to inject some more money into the club. Jane and I injected a little bit of equity last year, and we've made available a loan facility, but with some cost overruns on the grandstand project and one or two other things that we wanted to do around the club. The club needed some more money. We didn't want to do it through increasing the loan facility. The club has a history of poor experience with leverage as we call it in the United States, gearing, or too much borrowing, as you call it here. So it had to be equity, and just the arithmetic of an equity injection means that the ownership levels between James and me changed.
I've been 6 years on the board, so right from the administration. And as you know, James has always said that when someone came along he felt that could take the club a bit further than he was wishing to do, that he would step down. And so part of the change in ownership is a change as chairmanship. And of course, I was delighted when I was approached by Simon, who said, would I like to come back and take over the chair?
Frankly, I don't want the chairman job. I never have. When people have asked me in the past if I have long-term plans to become majority owner and chairman, I've said no, and I didn't even really particularly want to become majority owner. I've been very, very happy with what James has been doing. James and I continue to work well together. This has been a very smooth transition. James, as you know, will stay on the board. But it is partly to do with living in America. There will be day-to-day stuff that's required from the chairman. There may be less so than in the past under David's leadership. But it's also that I've built my career out of being a pretty effective number two. And that's a role I'm very, very comfortable in.
I think inevitably we will have slightly different views and an approach from James, although the board did, in fact, before I left it, put together a vision statement, and we very much endorse that and have passed that on to the club executives, and we will be working to that vision and values. And of course, priorities naturally change as the club progresses. But the most important thing for us is to get the new grandstand completed and to get the grounds set again so that we can take the club forward to the next level.
We want to be a values-driven club. That means that when people are making decisions, they can refer to our values, make sure that all actions taken by anybody working for the club or associated with the club are consistent with it. So the alternative is to be pragmatic, to make decisions on the hoof, if you like. So we want to have a kind of structure that's based in what our long-term goal for the club is. So that's really what we're trying to drive for here. Our overriding vision for the club, if you like, is pretty straightforward. I'm a great believer, and I think David agrees, that too many corporate mission statements or value statements are wishy-washy and cannot cascade down into specific strategic objectives and even annual targets for executives. So our vision statement is pretty straightforward. It says that we want to be a club that's supported or admired by everyone in the Southwest and many beyond. And, you know, it's interesting, we as a club are not going to be supported by Exeter fans. We're not going to be supported by rugby fans, but we want to make sure that they damn well respect us. And that really is something that we will have to earn, I think, over the next 5 to 10 years.
I think it's pretty early days, and I think the fact that we've introduced the vision and values, and we're talking individually to everyone in the club, basically, and getting a feel for their views, because I think it's very important that we reflect their views, and as much as we reflect the fans' views. So the idea will be, I think, that we'll concentrate this year on trying to get that grandstand completed, because that's a very big project, and as you know, all the facilities are squeezed as a result of having to do that at Home Park. So trying to provide a reasonable service for our fans in those circumstances is quite a challenge, both in terms of catering and drinks and the like. And so the match day experience, I think, this year will be challenging for us. But we're really looking forward to being able to build the club's resources, get them out into the market so we can increase the revenue and thereby make the club more profitable and invest in our team.
We signed the contract a couple of weeks ago, and it is all systems go. We expect to be able to move in and make the facility available pretty soon after the beginning of the next season. One of the problems with being a football club, if you look upon a football club as a kind of revenue-generating business, is that your biggest asset is used for 90 minutes once a fortnight, unless you have a good cup run. And that's not good business management. So basically, we're building a new asset that is going to be used 7 days a week, we hope. And the kind of additional benefit of that is that that's going to be an asset that's going to help generate visitors to Plymouth. It's going to be a facility that is in short supply in this part of the world. So this, I think, is entirely consistent with the role that we want Argyle to have as a community asset that happens to be owned at the moment by me. But, you know, as James has always said, we're not really owners of football clubs, we're stewards. We want Argyle to be central to the community in Plymouth, Devon and Cornwall and the rest of the southwest.
I mean, the first team it represents the outward face of the club. I mean, we have the community trust and we have the academy and everything else that we do. But of course, the first team is very, very important, and we are very big supporters of Derek. And we expect that we will hopefully, you know, move forward. And ideally, we want this club in the Championship. So that is our ultimate goal.
Yeah, very much so. I'd want to put in a word for the Argyle ladies. My wife's coming over on Friday. She's watching 2 games. She's watching the first team on Saturday, and then we're going to watch the Argyle ladies and their first match in their new division after winning promotion last year. So let's not forget that we've just not got a successful first team. We've got a successful series of club teams, including Argyle ladies, playing at Elberton Villa on Sunday afternoon.